Hey everyone, Tim Higgins here. So we're going to look at the new interface for TDM. Now, this is kind of cool. I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. And if you pay attention to any of my videos, this video is not scripted, so we're going to kind of make mistakes together. So let's go ahead and log in. Administrator and our top secret password. If I could spell it right. Let's get in. Notice, now, a lot of this, I'm kind of only going to point out some differences that I found. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So I started this new demo project the other day, but I'm going to go ahead and start with a fresh one. So we just say new project. And I like to put dates on mine. So test today is, well, let's do it the way I like to do it. Demo 9, today's July. That way it tells me which one I worked on. And this is a demo. So we're going to hit save. Now, if you see something cool that I missed, put it in the comments if you want. If you don't, then who cares? Give it a second. So we'll go ahead and close. Now, of course, you can still create your versions and things like that. So what I want to do is change this, give it a few seconds to refresh. It's probably done, but let's just go ahead and do that a couple times. Oh, there it is at the top. Sorry, I was looking for July, but it actually starts with demo. So the first thing I see is I'm going to go to modeling and we're going to go to environments. Now I did notice in the configs, I did set up a config for this that really didn't change, but this layout kind of looks cool. You got this cool little green button over here. I'm not sure why I went with green, but that's cool. I can dig it. So we'll say, if that's even a cool word these days, demo, we'll call it EMV. And now, same thing here. So a data source, we'll just call it, these, of course, Chrome kind of remembers things used before. This is a div, so we'll just go div, and I have my med site. If you've seen any of my other videos, it's what I've used a million times. So we'll go ahead and say go. It's just a fake website that I created, or fake database. So here, notice we don't have the little paperclip. You have all your actions over here. So we have scan data model, edit the environment. We can copy it, which is kind of cool, and of course, delete it. Now I'm going to go and click on scan because that's what we want to do. Now here I've noticed a couple of things. We can name this. Now I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of looked at this the other day and thought, hey, this is kind of cool. It's been forever since I've done a video. So why don't I do a video on how this looks to me? It may be totally different for you. You may have a different feeling. You know what? It is what it is. So I'm going to give it a name. And then you could have kept the name as is because I think it had the date on it. And here I can enable editing entity. Now, what I realized here is this is where you can filter. Do I want to search for the whole database, or do I just want to cover certain things? Sorry, I'm digressing because somebody pinged me and I just want to get back to that. But like, for example, I may not want to scan the whole database, right? Or I may only want to scan the DBO, which is, SQL's default. Or maybe I want to exclude or include certain tables, because here's the exclude, right? This comes very handy with customers who have large databases, and maybe I don't want to scan the whole database because that could take months. But in this case, we're going to do the whole thing. Advanced, I'm really not sure what advanced gave me. Let me turn this off because notice I couldn't hit continue because I didn't pick anything. So that's kind of cool. Little, hey, pay attention to what you're doing type situation. So let me hit scan. Now this is only 3 tables, I think, so it shouldn't take very long. So let's go ahead and scan through here. Again, this would be the filter. So if I was skipping tables, I truly recommend, I've said this on other videos why this is doing its thing, is that if you have a massive table, try to build your projects and your versions based off your use cases or user stories, and only get the tables that you need for your model. Your model doesn't mean the whole thing, right? The model just means, if you think about in the older days, we just called it, data table, data set, just something that has that group of data that you want to work with in its own, and its own little grouping. So we're almost done here, so I'll shut up and okay, cool. Now the other things I kind of noticed, we got the cool little layout here. This still has the ability to do the relationship. So if I go in here and say edit, now notice this is kind of cool. I can export relationships and import relationships, export relationships as CSVs. That is really cool because maybe I need to export and do a comparison. That is kind of neat. But in this case, let's just make one, see what happens. So we're going to say, if you remember, I have a relationship with these. So we're going to say, let's edit relationships maybe. Related to stage, now, new relationship. I'm kind of new to this as well, so we're trying to figure this out together. Here in my claims, we're going to do, what am I relating to? Oh, I haven't set it yet. So let's just go ahead and just link to the adjuster, and that would be the adjuster table, and that's going to link to adjuster name. Okay, and then done. And now let's see what that gives us. So if I go into claim, and I open up, it does. So cool. So it keeps the relationship there. That's kind of neat. So now I can click on the ERD diagram. This is it. If you heard me complain, oh, that one's out by itself. Like a little Pluto out there. But if you heard me say the Mac is not the best for this, it can zoom in. But again, if you notice, I've lost the other one. I'll have to go find it. But the scroll wheel doesn't exist on a Mac very well. That's what I'm doing. So you have it up here. But it's kind of cool. I can edit relationships here. I can click details. This is kind of from before, so that's kind of cool. Heat map, we'll get back to this in a few seconds because I noticed it. That was there before as well, but it to me, it felt like it was not used properly there because everybody was coming over here to do it. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Okay, so now what do we want to do? Display settings, show aliases. That's kind of cool. Show relationships only. What does that do? I don't know. Oh, so it showed the tables that have relationships. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and just turn that back on. I don't have any aliases, so that's fine. Now, the other actions I can do are what? So we can rescan the data model, which is very important if I make changes to the data source. PII scan, we'll talk about that in a few minutes, and register data tables. So what does that mean? So if you remember in the thick client or whatever before, we go over here and register objects. I don't even know if I see that over here. Let's see, because I don't see it over here. Maybe it's somewhere. Oh, here it is. So it's down here in data generation. Maybe it was there before. I don't know. But it's kind of cool. It gives you the option. Oh, there's your little paper clip. I guess because I'm finished with it. All right, cool. So now, like I said, I'm learning this as well as you are. But I'm going to register these tables from here. And I'm going to take all of them. Now, remember, you have to register tables to use them. And the reason being is because if I have a massive data model, again, I may not want everything. I may not want everything in that model to be used. So it says successfully registered, even though it doesn't show them checked. It's kind of odd, but that's okay. But it does say registered here. Okay, it would have been nice if it kept them checked because in a quick glance I can say, oh, those are there. So what happens if I click on objects? Does this make a difference? So it does show those three. That's kind of cool. And if I say register objects, so you can still register. Is anything new? So XSD, XML, not that I see. So JSON, if I wanted to bring in a CSV file, a delimited, that's just a CSV, delimited, comma, delimited type stuff, right? So that's kind of, that really hasn't changed much. If I do table, does it automatically show what I've got? Connection profile, the one that we're using. And schema, the default schema for SQL is DBO. And let's see what, now we already registered. Oh, it does show registered. Oh, nice. So, okay, so it does keep that. Okay, so let's go to generators, and we're just going to poop out a new generator. So we'll just call it make data. And if you know me, I know you can have spaces, but as a developer, I don't like spaces. Okay, and then this is kind of cool. DB type general, I'm assuming SQL and NoSQL. So for those who don't know, NoSQL, like Mongo and things like that, it doesn't mean it doesn't support SQL. Truthfully, at the end of the scenes, it kind of means it doesn't support the SQL language, which is okay. So we'll do general. Now, I did this the other day and it broke, but I think it's because I was using a bogus project. Yeah, okay, cool. So it did work. So now if I click on this, now I do like this import and export. So if you create one and you're passing it along, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll do a video on how to do that later because I don't even know. Let's select tables. I mean, I'm assuming it's common sense, right? I export it in a format and then import it to the next. So we're going to pick all of them. I don't see an OK button. Oh, it's loading them for me. There we go. Okay. And now actions the same, configurations, relationship, relation. I can't even talk. Please import data. Oh, okay. So we got to put some data. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. I'm looking for new stuff, right? So, and again, we got import, export. This available self-service is still there. Let's just poop some data out and see what happens. So here, I'm going to do next, right? Just because we need an ID. What does the painter look like? I notice I have less options. Copy to the right, painter. Like the functions thing is missing. Remember earlier you had, okay, but the truth is you didn't really need that. I don't think anybody used it. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it was broken down earlier where you can do functions and things like that. Do we need a service ID? Let's just say, let's make this equal that. What happens if I do a caret? Well, let me do that. A caret top. I don't know what the things are called. I don't know where it is on my keyboard. Oh, 6. Okay, so caret, and then move my mouse so I can see. Adjuster ID. Got to spell it correctly. And what if you don't know what that means, then you're probably watching the wrong video. But basically, that's saying that should equal that. And then here, we just can do one painter. It will just say name, right? So can I search in here? Oh, here we go. So we want seed list. Let's see what that looks like. And we will do a random list of values from a seed list. That's fine. I don't know what the S means. Let's see. Let's just do a basic one. We'll have to figure that out later. Let's go here and we'll just do name. I'm really not in the mood to do the whole video, and I don't want this to last a half a day because nobody's going to care that much. So we're just going to do name. And then over here, we're going to do 0. Because I'm sure the functionality hasn't changed. It's just got a really pretty UI now. So there we go. And now, can I test this? Oh, sorry. That's relationships. What's this maybe? Okay, that's cool. That's the one view. But let's go back over here. Table display, the one view. I thought there was a way to test it, but I'm sure there is. I'm pretty sure I'm just missing it. Okay, so it's back. All right, so let's do the same thing here. Let's just grab this next. And that may throw an error, but I'm surprised it hasn't. Let's go ahead and add a row. Whoa, what the world was that? I was trying to do a copy. Copy, paste, there we go. And we'll add a row here just so we have data. Paste, and I want to copy this. Copy. We'll just put it here. And climate name here. Okay. And since I have a relationship, I probably should put a name. Oh, it's down here. I'm sorry. Adjuster. There we go. Okay, so there we got some data. All right. Has anything else changed? So variables. Probably not. Nope. So not that I can see from a top level. It might have, but again, I don't want this to be 5 days long. So let's click on this and let's just publish it. Let's see what we get. Let it finish loading. Give it 2 hours. Publish. All right. Now publish all schemas. Table count. That's fair. Okay, and I want to publish to a file just so I can test it. We'll go to a comma delimited separator and we'll just do 5. Why not? The rest of the stuff's fine. Scheduling, any new options? Nope. Okay, cool. So let's just publish and see what we get. All right, let's click on our ID since that gets through spinning. Oop, we lost it. That's not what I want. Oops, sorry, my submitted requests. And we want generators. And I got the one running. And this really shouldn't take long because it's only producing 5 at a CSV. I just want to see if that one column will fail because normally I shouldn't have just typed it in. I should have just copied and pasted, but that's fine. So in the meantime, surprised it's taking so long. It should have finished by now. Is there a refresh? Yeah, refresh. There we go. So now it's done. So actions, what do we have here? So I downloaded. All right. Didn't really give me an option. And here, if I just go into claim, just Notepad's fine. So yeah, we do have data. Cool. Now, adjuster is the one that I kind of hardcover. I kind of just typed that in. See what it looks like. Yep. Cool. It works. So that's what I did. So that value equals that value. So that was pretty straightforward. Really cool UI. Let's go ahead and delete this because I don't care. Now, a couple of things I didn't notice is notice in the PII, we don't have the search anymore. We have the sign off, or we don't have the scan anymore. The data masking, we do have select a model. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I'm assuming I go back to my model. And I probably could have done it on the parent page. I just clicked the icon because it was something that we're used to doing. So now select packs. We'll go USA and common because that's normally what we do for demos. We'll say next. Now, again, this looks the same. I'm not going to cover this if you want to know. I do cover this in other videos. Scan string-based text. Yeah, that's fine. And let's just include all tables. Next. And let's just kick it off. Now, this, again, shouldn't take long. It's only 3. And we'll maybe do 1 or 2, just see what it looks like. So give it an hour. Just kidding. I don't have an hour. But it is scanning. I may cut these little in-between things because I know y'all don't want to hear me talk, but who knows. Like I said, we'll come to that in a few minutes. So it did find some PII. Let's click on it. That is an SN. Yep, that's the wrong kind of state though. And yes, it asks me why. Not PII. It's not state like a state. It's more like a status state. So we're going to remove that. There we go. And then we're going to confirm and go to the next table. This is pretty straightforward. And that should be named. Yep, that's all good. Confirm next table. And that's fine with me. So at this point, we're going to confirm and close. Okay. And now we have our PII identified. Oh, that's kind of cool. Don't know why it brought me over here. I guess that's kind of cool. I figured it would bring me back to the map. So let's view the heat map, maybe. Maybe it's just not a default. Okay, so that's good. So now we've identified PII. So now if I go up here and click on PII, we have our sign off. I don't have anything signed off. Review. I don't have anything in review. And I'm obviously not going to have any reports. So how do we get there? Oh, approval required. So that's kind of cool. So here we can view the model, view the PII heat map, or view masking. Now, I don't have users, so I can't send it to approval. Rescan PII. Oh, now notice our menu is a little bit different because now we have masking, create a report. Okay, so that's where you download the CSV. Very useful. Let's create a report. Let's see what it does. And download, maybe? How does it know which one I'm using? I mean, technically, it's got the job ID. So if you want to be technical, I'm pretty sure it's just banging it back to here. It's kind of cool. It looks like default. It returns back to the data model. So let's see what a report looks like. Okay. So yeah, dude, that works. How cool is that? All right. So now let's sign off. I can't do a sign off because I don't have users. Let's see if it forces me. Yep. No, I don't have anything set up there. Okay. So that's fine. Close. But I liked, so it looks like you can definitely get to the model from here. So let's just do it this way because that was an option up in my thing at the top too. My tags, has any of this changed? Gesture, name. So what if I want to change that? Okay. What if we just edit? Has this changed? Oh, the layout still looks the same. More green, a little more condensed, but it could be my monitor or it just be how cool it is. So we cancel. I'm good with all that. And if I add a new, what does that do? Okay, yep, so it does the copy of, you rename it, you change it. Oh wait, I want to see if any of the actions changed. I mean, I'm not going to know because there was so many of them, but I was just seeing if anything just stood out. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay, so we'll just cancel. Next, masking settings. So, oh, we got, well, those are all default settings. Okay, I will not know if any of these have changed. I'm assuming not. But you can export and import. Kind of cool. What's export look like? I'm assuming it's the same thing you get at the end. Okay, we didn't make any changes, but you know, sometimes when you run it at the end, it gives you your file of your operations or your, what's this called? Options. So I think that would be kind of cool. Was there an export here? No, I don't see one. I'm pretty sure that I know there's one at the end. What is the? Oh, look, I can change the order. Okay, interesting. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but okay. All right, so next. That might have been there before, and I didn't know. I'm assuming this is the same thing as before. The tag. Yep. Okay, don't really care. Let's go to next. Next. Okay, exclude tables. There's not any unconfirmed successfully masked. Interesting. That's kind of cool. But let's just mask in preview mode, and let's see what happens. I think all this is pretty much the same. So here's where you would download those files from before. It just gives you your settings. You can run it in the thick client. Again, I have videos on that. Let's go to preview and just preview. And this is going to run the masking in preview mode. I could do it the other way, but I don't really know if the database is even set up yet. So it says not started. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So how long do you take to start? I don't have a refresh over here, so hopefully this does its own refresh. So we'll come back to this. I want to see if anything else has changed. Find and reserve. You used to build your own model for find and reserve. It's the same thing. Maybe I had to grab the model that I created, because so far we're picking a model. Let's just say find data. And this should be, I'll say on demand, because I'm connected to my SQL server, so I shouldn't have any issues. Oh, cool. So I didn't have to redo the model. That was one of the complaints I had, because if I'm building all these models, why do I need to always have one, right? So let's, I have to have an ID. So let's bring that over. My key, let's make that the key. Okay, let's, not that one, but maybe I want to modify this one. Has that changed? Nope. Let's see, available is output. Yep. Drop down and search. Yeah. Okay, so finish. I think output might have been new, but maybe not. A lot of this I'd have to do a one-to-one comparison, but you'll see that there's a lot of cool things. Number one, I didn't have to rebuild the model. I was able to pick one that I created up here, which is cool. Because to my opinion, is you can build as many models you want, and then you can do different things with them. So I don't have a tester. We'll go ahead and do that. That's on demand. What does actions give us? Remove, fetch data, clone model. Oh, cool. So I can actually clone the model from here. And that way, if the model does change, I'm assuming it locks it into this. Okay. So let's go to our, well, first of all, our masking should be done. Let's go look at it. So let's go to our submitted requests, and let's change this to masking. What does this gives us? Complete. That's what I thought. Oh, so this output's a little bit different. So let's click on this, and let's open this up. And I shouldn't have too much. Yeah, just open this up in Notepad. There we go. Cool. All right. Now I don't know if it masked it, because again, it's just running in sudo mode, and I don't know what the original data was, but this looks like it was before, so that's kind of cool. Here's the configuration. I set it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Here's the configuration details, and the audit was what I was about to say, but let's go ahead and open this up. All right, profile. Yeah, okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete that, because I don't really care, and it's just stuff on my... Now, I did notice the options file wasn't there, but it could be just because I didn't change any options. I'm sure if I did, it would be there. Let's see. What are we looking at? Oh, so that's that. And the other thing I want to do is let's go down to our self-service catalog, and we should see our find and reserve. We do. Okay. Current project, new request. So I do not know a name. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can do this. I was going to say we probably should have picked a name. We'll pick Boxer. That's kind of cool. Find. And then I just want to reserve it, see what happens. And then there's some, what does edit do? Oh, cool. We have more options. Expires. I don't think so. I think it's just a prettier look, because these icons are totally different. But we do have stuff. Oh, that's interesting. All right, just some way to eye candy it. So let's complete and see what that gives us. And now let's go back to here. let's click on this. And it should give us our data, which is just the one person. It does. And if I just download this, it should give me the CSV of this data, right? Yep, it's right there. So easy enough. And yes, I do not have anything on this computer to read it, but that's all it is. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and release that. And then put that back into play. And that's kind of it. So the things I noticed mostly is this menu. The model has completely changed. It looks like the model's everywhere. And it looks like you build off your model, which is the right way to do it, in my opinion, instead of having a model for here, having a model for there. I mean, you can have different models, but notice they're just everywhere. Here, they're not. You build your model here, and then you use it throughout your functions out through here, which is, in my opinion, the right way to go. So that's one cool thing about the UI. Let's go look at some of these down here. Configure. Oh, yeah, this is the import and export. So I've never done this. Why not? That's the question. Let's see what happens. Select a project. What is it called? Demo study. Let's export this bad boy and see what we get. And we'll do all versions. Next. Cool. I can pick my environments. I want all of them because I only have the one. And I can export my models. That's kind of cool in case I don't want some of them. And let's just say finish. Now, let's see what this gives us. Okay, so it is a job like everything else, which is cool. And if I had to guess, this is going to be like a JSON file or something like that, maybe. So it's running. So cool. In our generators, or in our submitted requests, we now have project export import, which is kind of cool. So we'll come back to that because I have no idea how long it's going to take. Profiles are pretty much the same. I've noticed that. I came in here and created this profile. So if you look, it's kind of laid out the same. I don't know if there's new ones here. I do know there's things that we've looked at. There's Snowflake, there's HANA, there's MongoDB. Trying to think some that actually stand out with customers I've used just recently. Of course, your mainframe connections. Those are kind of cool, but pretty straightforward. See, access control. I think this is pretty much the same. I did an upgrade. Some of these I could probably delete because they're no longer with us, but that's okay. If they ever need it back, I'll give it back. So I'll just leave that. Same there, I'm guessing. Same there, I'm guessing. So this is where you'd sign your, if I wanted to use a different seed list, not the default one. That's very important. I thought about doing a video on that too because I've had people ask me about that. Email's pretty straightforward. Dev test portal, that hasn't changed. Authentication, same. Classifiers, this is where you upload your classifiers for your PII. I mean, really for masking and PII. Okay, so I'll probably cut the video because that took a while to load. I'm not sure why, but these are the classifiers. Okay, looks like you have global and project. Now, and you probably had that for, oh my gosh, I was going to say, I clicked on it, it was going to refresh. And then, of course, this is the last piece that we know. Make sure there's nothing in here you can't see. Yeah, okay, so this is my usage, my license, yada, 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 yada. Okay, so that's kind of it. So I hope you all get a chance to play with the new portal. When I upgraded, there was a couple issues. So not really sure why, other than the fact that my version was very old and then I upgraded to a new one. So one thing I did have to do that was pretty surprising is if I go into Data Maker, was it here or here? Let's see. No, that's fine. So you had to set up your ODBC connection. Okay. Of course, there's no password there. I don't have it. So let's just connect. Let's log in. None of this has changed that I could see. Let's see. There was a place where I had to set up an authentication piece, and I'll probably stick out another document just because I was having problems connecting. Let's see if it's this one. I don't think it is. Yeah, I'll have to do another video on that one because, oh, in the additional properties, I had to do this. But I don't remember where I did that to get it to work because obviously it wasn't here because this is working. But I had to put in the trust certificate because I was getting a really strange issue. And I got with Broadcom and they really helped me with that. So if you run into that issue, either ping me or reach out to me. But that was the only issue I had with installing it, was it had a problem connecting to the ODBC connector. Let me see. And it might have been the order that I did it in. I have another profile in here. I want to see what this one looked like, because this one, yeah, it's not in there either. So maybe it was in the actual over here. But anyway, I'll look that up because I still have all the notes, and I will make sure that you all see that. But anyway, so oh yeah. So this may be part of it. But anyway, I'll do a video later on the thick client and why things aren't connecting. So that's it right there. So I have to go back only because maybe my version of SQL, but if you run into that error, one thing I had to do was in connection profiles, edit. For a SQL Server, I had to do this trust thing. So let's go down and test. That worked. And say OK. And then say OK. Now let's go try it again. So, OK. I remember there was something like that that I had to do. So let's try that now. And that may not have been it. I may have to go back and look at it again. But I really am impressed with UI. I am glad when I'm trying to type and talk. Oh, that's not how you spell that. I'm really glad that, TDM is moving forward. Things are growing with it. That's really cool. Let's see if that fixed that issue. If it didn't, I'll go back and fix it later. Oh yeah, that fixed it. There we go. So that's what it was. So if you get that error when you're trying to connect with a thick client, then make sure you put that authentication trust in there. You see that in SQL Server in the ODBC connection. So it's just trust. I mean, this is a video, so you can always pause it, but it's trust server certificate equals true. And then the thick client will connect. Okay. And to me, that was important because I was trying to open up the subsetting tool and I want to make sure that would work. Anyway, so this video's got longer than I was hoping, like usual. So I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, if you see anything cool that you wanted to see more of, let me know. I'll be glad to do separate videos, but it looks like the functionality hasn't changed. So you're subsetting your data generation and all that. It hasn't changed. Just the UI has got prettier. Now I know they have some new features in there, and maybe I'll do a video about that later. But for now, it looks really sharp. I like it. Hope you do too. Thank you.